Hello, Chris from My Stamp Lady. I'm so glad you're here to stamp with me today. So I'm going to be showing you a card that I've stamped with the Seaside Shore set, and I've combined it with the tie-dyed set. This is designed to go with the t-shirt set we currently have in our Occasions catalog, but I've used these two pieces here with the Seaside set because they make great water backgrounds. I'm also going to be using the stitched shape framelits. I'm going to be using one of the square shapes, but it also does come with circles and ovals. The By the Shore paper is a beautiful, I just love this paper that is designed to go with that Seaside stamp set, and I'm going to be using some of that today also. You'll be able to find all of the dimensions over on my blog. So I'm going to be mentioning the sizes, but you don't need to worry about writing them down because I have a printable PDF over there for you. So this is a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of very vanilla cardstock, scored at 5.5 inches and folded for my card base. Right on this, I have cut a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch piece of pattern paper, and this is from that By the Shore stamp, By the Shore paper package. This covers the entire front of that card base, and so I've just put adhesive down, and then I will line that up and place that down to cover my card front. So I'm using these two stamp pieces are designed to go over each other, and one of the things I've noticed is that this has a straight edge. So if that's the straight edge, this bottom edge has kind of a little divot out of it. Now this one has the curved edge and a straight edge. You want to make sure those are opposite each other for those to line up correctly. So use the straight edge on the top and the straight edge on the bottom. I am also going to be using one ink color. I'm going to be using the Dapper Denim color, and I will be using it once at full strength and once with it stamped off. So let's do this one first. So I ink that up. I'm going to stamp it off on my scratch paper, so it's on this black paper. You can't see it, but I have stamped that off. And then I will stamp this right down on this very vanilla cardstock. Okay, so there's my lighter stamping, and now I'm going to stamp it darker or full strength right over that first stamping. I am using a Stampin' Pierce pad underneath. That's because I'm using photopolymer sets, or the clear ones. This helps, gives it a little bit more cushion to stamp over that. There I have my water background that I've created with this tie-dye set. And it's the same color. It's Dapper Denim, just stamped off for the lighter part and then used at full strength for the darker colors on there. Then I'm just going to place this down on my card front. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this fish, and I'm stamping it in Calypso Coral onto a piece of very vanilla cardstock, and then I will take my scissors, and I'm just going to trim that part out with just a fussy cut. There is not a die that coordinates with this. Okay, so after I've stamped this, and you can either do this part before or after you cut it out, but I'm just going to go over this with my Wink of Stella to add a little bit of shimmer to my fish. I've already stamped and cut out and added the Wink of Stella ahead of time to, oops, drop that one there, to 2 additional fish that I will be using when I put this card together. Just like that. Okay, so I can set this aside for right now. I've removed that Stampin' Pierce pad because you really don't need it when you're stamping with the cushioned images, and so I don't need it with this part. I think these stamp a bit better without that cushion underneath. So I have the sentiment saying, hoping your day goes swimmingly, and I'm going to stamp this on the top here. From that Stitched Shapes pattern, I'm going to pull out this square die, and I'm going to place that over that with the magnetic platform and run it through the Big Shot. Okay, now you notice that this, I would have almost, you could run this through again and just get a little rectangle out of there, but since I did the Big Shot and with the square die, I decided to add a little bit below and leave it kind of open along the top. So what I'm going to do is with this seaweed image, I'm going to stamp it off, though I want it pretty subtle down along the bottom here. So I'm stamping one layer off onto my cardstock here, and then did a second generation, a lighter mint macaron one. Okay, now this, I'm going to stamp this stripe of bubbles, I guess, or circles here. So I will be putting this down. I don't want the entire thing. You see it's too wide. So I'm going to put a piece of tape over these bubbles here to the right, just like that. Let's cover those up. And then with Calypso Coral ink, let's ink that up. Now you notice I have a big blob, and if I forget that on there, I'm going to have a big blob of tape mark on my image. So I remove that tape. I've just masked those ones off, and then I'm going to stamp that down and up to have my little row of bubbles there. So now I've got all my pieces stamped, I've got them cut out, and I can go ahead and assemble. So I'm going to figure out that I want my fish, where I want those on here. I'm going to be using some dimensionals so that I can pop some up. And I have a strip of that Designer Series paper, so I've used one for the background and another one for a strip. So I think let's place that blue background about there. When you're using the fast views, you want to be sure to do that check mark. That helps to keep the tape from sticking where you don't want it to stick. So there we go. Put that down. And then put this down here. And we'll just place this right along the bottom. This is 4.5 inches by 3/4 inches, or 3/4 inches by 4.25. Sorry. Okay. So this piece here is 3/4 inch by 4.25 inches, and that will go right on the back there. Now I want to add a few dimensionals because I want my little sentiment to stick up above the back of the cardstock. I'll set that aside for a second, because I forgot, first of all, I would like to tie a length of the Calypso Coral thick twine to this right side here. So I'll just tie that off to the right side and just put a bow. And then once you get your bow how you want that, sometimes bows come in fairly quickly for me, and sometimes I need to kind of play with them a little bit to get them how I want them to look. This one came together fairly quickly, so I'll just take that. And let's trim off my ends here. And you can always adjust your bow if you want it smaller or larger. I like to hold that center when I am adjusting. It seems to hold that knot a little bit better. And I'll just make that just a bit shorter. There we go. Okay, so now I've got those dimensionals on there. This is going to give it a nice little bit of lift from the background. And since this is going to be higher than my background, I'm going to put one dimensional, stuck on there, one dimensional on the back side of the fish that I'll put to the right of this one. You'll see what I mean when I get there. So let's put that down. There we go. And let's put some adhesive. You could also use mini glue dots on the back side. I love my mini glue dots for putting down smaller pieces. I'm not sure if you can see that shimmer. It shows up really nicely in real life. I really like how that shows up. Okay, so let's put a mini glue dot under the front of the fish, under the face, and then I'm going to just snip a little bit of the edge here. I like doing this, using up those edges, and it works great for your smaller areas like the back of the fish here. So I have the mini glue dot on the front, so that will be flush with the background, and then I have the dimensional on the back to give it a little bit of lift. There you go, and a wonderful card to send off to somebody to wish them a nice day. It's got some two-step stamping with some stamping off and a little bit of masking and more stamping off. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, Chris, at mystamplady.com. You can find all these supplies in my online store at shopwithmystamplady.com. Thanks so much for watching.